Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about push-ups. So through coaching and various classes, I've noticed that some people struggle with push-ups and they want to improve, but they don't really know how. And I figured this could be helpful for some of you on how to improve your push-ups. Also, if you are already doing full push-ups and you want to make it more challenging, I have a couple of tips at the end as well. So first off, one of the things that I've noticed with push-ups is the setup position. Typically people will set up with their arms really far wide and their elbows out. And that makes it a more challenging way to do your push-ups because it puts a lot of strain on your shoulders. The other thing I've noticed is probably because of that positioning, people will not go down far enough as a full push-up. What I mean by that is they might go down a couple of inches, but their chest is nowhere near the ground. So you're not really getting the benefit of the push-up at that point. You're just really putting a lot of strain on your shoulders for not much gain. So today we'll talk about how we can start from a assisted version of the push-up and then over time work our way over to a full push-up. So to begin with, first thing to know is the positioning. So your hands should be about chest height, but they should be closer to your chest, as close as you're comfortable with. Maybe over time you bring it closer and closer. Definitely not out wide with elbows flared. Once you have that setup position, the first modification that you could try for your push-ups is on a bench or on an elevated surface. So your hands would be on that elevated surface, and you also can use your knees instead of your toes. That will give you more leverage and you're supporting less weight for that push-up, so it makes it easier for you to get a full rep with your chest to the bench or whatever surface you're using than if you're doing off your toes. That's a great place to start, being consistent with trying to do 5 to 10 reps. Once you can get to 10 reps unbroken, maybe you can then try the next evolution of that, which is same concept, doing off a bench, but this time off of your toes. So you're positioning yourself on the bench, same as the initial version, but this time instead of from your knees, you'll do it from your toes. You'll still get assistance from the bench, but now you're supporting your whole body weight, which will make it a little more challenging. Again, I would encourage you to practice those until you get to a point where you can do 10 straight pretty reasonably easily. The next evolution from that would be to go back to the knee assisted push-ups, but this time doing them off of the ground. So setup becomes important again, with your hands by your chest, as close as you're comfortable with, knees on the ground, keeping that core tight just like you would otherwise, and then bringing that chest down to the ground and then back up. Again, being off the knees will help take some of that weight off of you and allow you to have more assistance on that push-up. Once you feel comfortable with those, then you can go on to a regular push-up, which is on the ground, off of your toes. Again, chest to the ground or as close to it as you can. if you want to challenge yourself, so if you're already doing full push-ups and you want to challenge yourself, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. One of them could be with elevated feet. So in this case, you would put your feet on a bench or on a surface that's higher than where your hands are. So that will have gravity pushing you down a little more, and it would allow you to challenge yourself a little more on that push-up. Another version of that you can do is with dumbbells or with barbells or kettlebells, not barbells, but kettlebells, where you can put your hands on the dumbbells or the kettlebells, and same motion as your push-up, but this time, because your hands are elevated, it means you're traveling farther to get your chest to the ground, which makes it a little bit more challenging. Again, these are just some ways that you can work on your push-ups, either to improve up onto where you can do a full push-up, or where you want to challenge yourself and make them a little more challenging. Hopefully this is helpful.